Update 1. My wife took what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas literally, but she brought home a Hickey as a souvenir to go along with it, claiming it's just a bug bite. But if she's lying, then it's about time to exterminate our marriage. Update 1. We were stuck between arguing and her showering our daughter, 4F, and me with affection. I rarely saw the bruise because she was turtlenecked up, but I noted the healing process, from reddish purple to yellow. There wasn't any more discussion about the Vegas retreat. She made it clear she was done talking about it and that she shouldn't need to defend herself to her husband. I told her she could do whatever she wanted, but I was done being treated like an idiot, and I wasn't sharing a bed with someone I couldn't trust. So I moved into the guest room. Communication stopped. The silences were palpable. Even our daughter noticed. I'm not proud of that. I tried keeping her out of the fights. My wife came to the guest room one night and asked if we could talk. I could tell she'd been crying. She said she hated the way things were between us. She felt she was losing me either way. I told her I needed complete honesty. She confessed she hooked up with that coworker, 23M, on our daughter's birthday. The Hickey was from him. She was lost in the heat of the moment and didn't realize he was sucking so hard on her neck. By her account, they made out, did some over the clothes stuff, and then he went down on her. It stopped there because he called her by a nickname that I affectionately call her. That snapped her back to the reality of her actions. She went to splash water on her face and saw the Hickey. The guy made light of it and joked about it being her souvenir. She blew up on him and kicked him out of her suite. Part of the reason she was avoiding me was out of guilt. She said she's coming clean because she doesn't want to hide anymore. I asked her why she cheated. What was it about that guy she deemed worth risking everything? She claimed it wasn't him specifically, nor is she unhappy with our marriage. She doesn't really know how to explain it, but a part of her feels broken. The more she looks in the mirror, the more she sees her dad, 57M, a cycle of being consumed with work, distant from his child, and the infidelity he put her mom, 55F, through. She said her family never talked about anything openly, and her mom never addressed things with her growing up. I said her parents didn't make her cheat. She chose to party up with a guy who constantly disrespected our relationship. These were all her decisions, and at any point she could have chosen our family. She agreed. She wants to blame her parents but realizes this is on her. She apologized for cheating and for entertaining the guy's advances. She said she'll do whatever it takes to repair, go to HR, quit her job, counseling, anything. She wants to make everything right. I told her I don't know what right looks like or if that's possible for us anymore. I knew we had our problems, but I thought there wasn't anything we couldn't talk out. She insisted we still could. We didn't have to give up on us. She tried giving this rally cry for our relationship, but I felt very numb. I said I didn't recognize her. Not just the betrayal of our vows, but also how she treated our daughter. She's like a stranger. She feels she failed as a wife and mom, but she loves us both beyond words and wants our life together and our family intact. I told her I couldn't give her the answer she wanted and that we needed to separate and reevaluate. She didn't want separation. She felt we should stay together in our home, but I told her a separation was happening. Either she was leaving the home, or I was with our daughter. She consented to leaving so as not to uproot our daughter too much. She asked for our daughter not to be taken away from her. My wife is staying with my in-laws. I know that's difficult in itself because she doesn't have the best relationship with her parents. One of the hardest parts is the shift for our daughter. Right now, she believes her mom's just busy with work as usual. She hasn't questioned it too much. My mother-in-law called the other day. She made no excuses for my wife but is advocating for us to work through it. She told me about times she heard my wife describe me as the anchor she always wanted. She believes there's something worth fighting for, if I'm open. Despite the family opposition we face throughout our relationship, my mother-in-law has always been a supporter of us. I'm even more at a loss. I never imagined this kind of betrayal from my wife. She was my safe place. I feel numb yet broken. I'm in love with her, that hasn't changed. But I don't see myself, her, our relationship, or our family the same. Everything's more tense because it's fresh. I think this period of separation is for the best. I'm not sure about divorce. I haven't let myself fully go there. I'm not set either way. I don't know where things go from here. But I'm focusing on our daughter and taking things one step at a time. I feel that's all I can do right now. Thanks again to everyone for the support. It's much appreciated. Commenter, I was just on a work trip with a coworker who has a couple of little kids, similar in age to Ops. He had arranged his travel times to make it easier on them and went back to the hotel to call them every night. Nothing about how the wife is acting is normal or okay. Update 2. Thank you again to everyone. Things have been a little chaotic with a new status quo after my wife's affair, but I'm taking everything one step at a time. My wife and I explained the separation to our daughter in simple, concrete terms and reassured her that we both still love her, without going into the reasons behind the separation. Our daughter's always been an observant kid, but I don't think the separation has hit her yet. She doesn't see the difference between her mom not being home and her being busy with work. During visits, she's more distant towards her mom and clings to me. My wife attempted to play with her on a toy set, but our daughter wasn't having it and shouted at her mom that she didn't want to play with her. The disconnect between my daughter and wife hurts in a way I'm still processing. I knew my wife's work/life balance took its toll pre-Vegas. We were supposed to be working on reconnecting. But just how fractured things are is a lot more apparent now. Our daughter interacts very little with her mom and becomes quiet around her, like she does with strangers. I feel that at her age, we, as her parents, should be who she's closest with, not this disconnected from her mom. Their dynamic is something I've been reflecting on. My main focus is making sure my daughter's okay through all of this. As far as between my wife and me, she's advocating for us to reconcile. She's expressed she wants to work on our marriage, not solely for our daughter but because she loves me. Her rally cries for our relationship are still falling flat for me. I can't give her what she wants right now. I told her I wish she had given herself these rally cries before cheating. She's adamant about the affair timeline and what occurred with the coworker. They connected because she felt bad he wasn't fitting in. He kept flirting and treating her like royalty. It started feeling good on the rougher workdays. They had an emotional affair, even though she didn't label it as such at the time. The EA turned physical during the retreat. She dissociated from her life back home while in Vegas. She still swears they had sex only once. The hickey came from foreplay, and while giving her oral, he called her my nickname for her, which shook her out of it. She snapped at him about his immature attitude with the hickey and kicked him out of her suite. She thought she could quietly end things and salvage our marriage. I asked her if she wore her wedding ring during intimacy with him. She confessed that she did. Knowing this hurts like hell. Our wedding rings were a physical symbol of our love, commitment to our vows, and our bond. She tarnished our rings. I haven't been able to wear mine. It never hurts any less, there are just new levels to the hurt. She admits to contributing to blurred lines. She's now changed her number and claims to have cut contact with the coworker. She reported the affair to HR. The company has suspended both of them while they investigate the extent to which the affair impacted the department. Coworker relations violate their policy, and it doesn't look good for my wife in terms of power balance, since she was the guy's mentor. They're also calling into question whether she gave him favoritism. Some have suggested I reach out to the coworker. I've considered it, but I'm not in a place to. I feel a lot of anger towards him. He knew exactly what he was doing with the hickey and nickname stunt. I wouldn't get anything from him except trouble. He's not worth it. I'm choosing to focus on my daughter. I've chosen to pursue marriage counseling. This isn't under the promise of reconciling, but as assistance in working through this separation as healthily as possible for our daughter. I'm still numb in a lot of ways. I never thought this would be how my marriage and family turned out. I've seen it happen to others. I've heard stories. I thought I knew what it was like. But it's nothing compared to dealing with it yourself. I don't feel like the same person anymore. I don't know how everything will pan out. It's an uphill battle, but I'm trying to show up to the battle. It's the best I can do right now. Thank you to everyone who has reached out. I appreciate the support. Really, to go along with it, claiming it's just a bug bite. But if she's lying, then it's about time to exterminate our marriage. Update 3. Things aren't easy. I don't expect them to be. I don't regret the decision to separate, it was necessary in many ways. I feel like my hand was forced, with the betrayal and all the lies. I'm still finding my footing. I don't put people on pedestals, nor did I ever believe my wife's and my relationship was perfect. I just didn't think we'd end up like this after all this time together. While HR was still conducting their investigation on my wife and the coworker, my wife resigned. Apparently, she received pushback. Some of the top brass were pulling for her to stay on. I wasn't too surprised because she's always been a yes employee who gets the job done. She worked with the company back as an intern in college. She said she wants to prove that she's taking every possible action and cutting ties with the guy. I don't know what the investigation result was for him. I don't care, TBH. It's not a concern of mine. We've officially begun marriage counseling. It's a new experience overall. I didn't know what to expect. We're mostly discussing our relationship's journey up to now, the affair, and what we want from counseling. My wife's position on how the affair began remains consistent. She can't really explain it precisely. She wasn't unhappy with me, but a part of her feels broken. The undivided, special attention became like a drug to her. The convo kind of shifted to my in-laws, 57M/55F, my wife's family life, and the impact of her father's infidelity. She believes she's a reflection of her dad and how she is as both a parent and a spouse. As a parent, she tried convincing herself she was better than him by showering our daughter with gifts in light of her lacking presence. As a spouse, she tried convincing herself she was better because the affair wasn't physical, pre-Vegas. She thought as long as they didn't do anything physical, then she was better than her dad. That was something she told her affair partner while in Vegas, actually, that they could hang out as long as it didn't turn physical. I feel like she had so many chances to choose differently, to choose us and our family. But she tossed our daughter and myself to the train tracks. Our relationship wasn't enough to stop her. Our wedding rings weren't enough. And our crying daughter wasn't enough. She chose herself every time. She was selfish. She mentions the nickname thing making her snap back to reality as if it's supposed to make me feel better. It doesn't. I believe she only stopped at oral because she got off and had no more need to go further. I wasn't on her mind. Telling me that was like trying to put a band-aid on a gunshot wound. I didn't plan to say half of everything I did, but there was no going back once the door was open. During my turn to talk, she agreed and said she has no excuse for her actions. It's not her parents, it's just her. She swore that she loves me and our daughter and wants to fight for our family. I told her that I love you rings hollow now. She shut out our daughter and myself to give an intimate part of herself to her coworker. She said she realizes how much larger than just the affair our problems are. She struggles connecting with our daughter and worries about messing her up, so she left the primary caretaking to me. She believes I'm better at it. She said there's nothing she can say to change anything, but she wants to show change through her present actions. That's some of what we've dug through in counseling. We're still in the early stages, but I believe it's aiding in communication through separation, which is more healthy for our daughter. Our therapist recommended individual counseling as a complement. It's something I'm seriously researching for myself. Not much has changed with our daughter since the previous update. She still doesn't feel there's a difference between her mom being home or not. I've watched her go from talkative and playful to instantly completely silent when her mom came by. I've scheduled her for play therapy. I don't know what to expect from that either, but I'm hoping for the best. My main goal is being present for her. I know I need to learn how to trust again in general. That's shot right now. Pre-Vegas, I never had a reason to doubt my wife. My trust was something she had as an irreplaceable partner. I've been betrayed before, but this one did a number in a way the others hadn't. I'm trying to stay afloat and focus on what I have, rather than what I lost. I can't afford to get lost in myself. Thank you to everyone for the support and for sharing your own experiences. Talking about all this isn't easy for me, but I appreciate the openness. Update 4. I don't have much new to say about therapy in itself. I'm staying the course with marriage counseling, and my wife and I have both begun individual counseling. It's an interesting experience and has given me an outlet. I see it as a nice compliment to MC. My wife's keeping her therapy appointments. She's journaling too. I'm surprised, because journaling wasn't something she's ever really believed in. In MC, she said it's helping her reflect. Our daughter has begun play therapy. We're still in the early stages, she's hesitant but coming around to it. Once she gets going, though, you can't get the toys out of her hands. It's reassuring seeing her in an environment where she's engaging and being more herself. It gives me hope that she'll be okay through everything. The play therapist has been discussing when to best involve my wife. Nothing's concrete yet. I also want to progress at a rate our daughter's comfortable with and not force anything. I'm really proud of her. She's a major reason why I can't regret being with my wife. There are a lot of things I'd tell my younger self, but if I'd chosen a different path, then I wouldn't have my daughter. It's something I wouldn't change. I had another major challenge recently. It was my wife's and my anniversary. Our anniversary always meant something to me. Even with her terrible work/life balance, we made an effort to make the occasion special. I felt a lot of conflicting emotions about our anniversary this year, mostly pain. We had plans. Everything was booked and set pre-Vegas retreat. Needless to say, the trip was cancelled. My wife wanted to keep our plans intact. I told her that wasn't happening. Without the trip, she said she still wanted us to spend our official anniversary together instead of separately. I turned her down. We discussed it in therapy. I expressed I didn't have the needed trust in her to let myself be vulnerable with her as I once was. I needed to process the anniversary on my own. The anniversary had me having all these strange thoughts. A lot of it highlighted how much I miss my friend and partner. I'm not talking about reconciliation. I'm not entertaining that right now. I'm talking about something deeper, to share a life with someone and everything that entails, them being your partner and closest friend, and then having what you devoted yourself to yanked away. I can't be with her in all the ways I wanted. Call it simping, call it foolish, call it a doormat, call it whatever you want. I just call it the facts of falling in love and giving them your all for a long time, then finding out they had another life and losing what you held close. It hurts. And I hadn't let myself actually feel it until then. I feel like everything moves on. Life moves on. My wife's affair partner moves on. Work moves on. And here I am. I'm the one who's living the loss. I'm the one who's paying. I also wanted to address an FAQ. I've been asked a lot about what I meant in my first post about the cultural differences and family opposition my wife and I faced. We're an interracial couple. My wife's Korean. We're both minorities, but my father-in-law and his side of the family wanted my wife to settle down with someone who's Korean. They're conservative in their beliefs, so I wasn't exactly welcomed, and we dealt with opposition from that angle. It was rough, even at our wedding. My father-in-law was more a silent attendee. Because of my wife and her father's strained relationship, she was firm that she didn't care about his approval. She rejected him walking her down the aisle, which of course didn't help their relationship. My wife made her own choice. I had nothing to do with it, but anger was thrown at me. My father-in-law took it as if I influenced her against him, and his side of the family said my wife wasn't being a good daughter. Things with my father-in-law didn't really mend until our daughter. He mellowed after becoming a grandpa and became receptive toward me despite our past. He's different as a grandparent. My mother-in-law is a different story. She's always been welcoming and supportive of our relationship. Her support made a difference. She's been like a mother to me. I'm realizing more and more the rippling effects of an affair, how much it just takes and consumes. The different facets to the loss. I lost not only the life I chose but also family and friends. Just keep losing. That's pretty much all there is to update about. Thank you to everyone for the support, even if I couldn't respond, just know everything is much appreciated. It means a great deal.